How's it going, everyone? Welcome to G-Ball Vision. Today we have a new knife to check out coming in from Artisan. While we get started, let us know down in the comments what your EDC is for today. I have to say I'm excited about this one, and here again I think Artisan is filling a huge void in the knife market with this knife. This is going to be one of their newer releases called the Satyr, I believe, and it is an excellent looking knife. Now let's dive into this thing. First and foremost, the price of this knife is going to be just like the Revel, which is another knife in a similar material choice that they just recently released. It's going to be coming in at $90. And might sound like quite a bit of money, but when you boil it down, up until very recently, there's only been very few knives and even fewer companies to put titanium handles out in the knife market around $100. Now, Artisan is putting out a really good looking knife under $100 at $90 with a titanium handle. And not only that, they are micro milling it and giving it a really good and clean aesthetic. And they are doing it on both sides. Not only that, then they touch it off with an RPM 9 blade and their sand polish finish that they do. And I think they continue to get better and better at that sand polish. And this looks really good in my opinion, the finish and the blade. We have a pill-shaped hole there for deployment, and that is going to be your only means of deployment on this knife. As far as the detent goes, it's strong. Like, it's breaking in as I flick it here a couple times, but it's nice and strong. So if you like a heavier detent and a frame lock, this is going to be right up your alley. If you're someone who's interested in getting a titanium frame lock for the very first time and you don't want to spend a ton of money on getting a titanium handle with a super steel, basically a average steel is going to be just fine for you. I would look at this knife and the Revel, no question about it. I wish knives like this existed 5, 6, 7 years ago, and they just didn't. Very few, if any at all. As far as the pocket clip goes on this knife, I don't have any complaints or problems with them going with a steel rollover clip. It's going to carry nice in the pocket. We're going to check that as well. But it keeps the price down for the people who really don't care about the milled tie clip. But Artisan offers a really nice, one of the nicest aftermarket milled tie clips for the money that you can get. So you could always include that with your purchase of one of these knives or get it on later down the road to add it to the knife if you wanted to. But I think they're under 20 bucks and would definitely complement the knife. They have different colors that you can get, but finishes that will match this pretty much perfectly. Let's go ahead and get a quick measurement on the Satyr here. You'll have to let me know if you've seen the Revel and you're seeing the Satyr now. Which one do you like more? I'm pretty interested to hear from you guys between the two. We're looking at 7 3/4 strong overall, 3 1/4 of cutting edge, and just under 3.5 inches total blade. We'll put up a couple of comparison knives here. We have the full-size Vastid Raccoon up top and the Kaiser Militao full-size on the bottom. And it's right in between both of those. A little bit bigger than the Raccoon and just a touch smaller than the Militao. And then we have the Kaiser Mini Mystic and the older brother, the CJRB Frack here. And the Mini Mystic is going to be a little bit smaller than the Satyr, which the Mini Mystic, very popular knife and a very popular size. The Satyr is going to fit right in with those size requirements of many people. The Frack is going to be quite a bit larger than the Satyr. Next up, we'll go ahead and see what that pocket clip looks like in the pocket. Check the retention. and good retention, and you have this texturing here, which is going to help with that retention. It's going to carry nice and deep in the pocket. You'll have just a tiny bit there poking out, and that'll give you a little something to grab a hold of and pull this out of the pocket. And you can feel that texturing kind of helping keep a hold in the pocket, which will be nice. And I don't think it'll be a pocket destroyer or anything like that. Just a little bit of added texture. It's smooth. Just a little tiny bit. Now keep in mind, if you were to add a milled tie clip, consider you will have about that much poking out of your pocket then. So something to consider if you prefer the deep carry, if you prefer more access, or if you just don't care, either way. But it is something to keep in mind. Our blade is perfectly centered there. Let's go ahead and we'll get a weight on this. So we have our brand new scale here. Let's see what we are working with. It feels pretty good. I'm going to say 4 ounces, I think, is probably a good safe bet. 4 ounces, let's call it. 4.1. Ooh! Yeah, buddy, look at that. I was going to go safe and play 4, but I figured let's go odd. So 116 grams, and that is not too shabby, though. I think that's a great weight for a knife like this. We'll go ahead and check our handle thickness here, blade stock thickness, and our behind the edge. Going to be a pretty thin handle, 0.42 there. So not too shabby on the handle if you like a little bit thinner knife. We'll check the thickest part here of our blade stock, and we're right at 125. Pretty average blade stock. And we'll just check a random spot here. See what we got. Little thick right there, about 22.5. Let's see if we can get a better reading. Well, there it's a little thinner, but still coming in around 21. So a little bit thicker behind the edge. We'll see how it cuts here in a minute. And by in a minute, I mean right now. So let's go ahead. We have our telephone book paper and this beautiful blade. Let's see what happens here. Looks pretty good. Let's check that tip. Oh. Pokey Piercy. Yeah, that thing has a beautiful edge on it. So the fit and finish of this is really nice. Everything is softened down. We just have a couple of standoffs back here. Detent, very nice. We have ball bearings in there around the pivot, so that's going to give us a nice, clean, smooth closing action. Perfectly centered up there. And as far as lockup goes, we're sitting at about 25, maybe 30%. And I don't feel any detent lash on this knife. Man, this is beautiful. I'm going to struggle to decide between this and the Revel, which we will take a look at here in one moment. As far as any blade play with the lock there, I don't feel any up and down. And there's no side-to-side play, no pivot lashing, and certainly no detent lash. Look at this. Nice and clicky. Good pull on that as well. Nice and strong. That is really nice from Artisan. Let's go ahead and check that lock. We'll get the old spine whacker out here. We'll clean this up before we give it its due here. And we're just making sure that lock's not going to slip off here right out of the box. We definitely want a knife that is going to stay locked up under a little bit of pressure. Couple of lighter taps just to get us going there. Close it, open it, check it. Good to go. Couple of medium taps. Good. Nothing scientific. We're just checking, making sure the lock's not going to slip off. And a lot of times that's due to coating, a majority of the time. This knife is nice and solid. Very good. Very good. For just everyday carry purposes and casual cutting, maybe a little bit more, right? This is going to be just fine. A good frame lock, a good solid frame lock that has proper lock face geometry and everything is right. It's going to be a pretty strong lock for you. So here is the Artisan Cutlery, and this is the Crusoe, a new knife from Artisan, and I have not put this thing down. This is a little bit more expensive, right under $200, but you're going to be getting S90V and a sand polish blade. You're still going to be getting titanium, nice thick slabs of titanium, and a little bit different texturing done on the handles here. This is more of a diamond texturing, where this is more of like a mini frag texture. And up top here, we have the Artisan Cutlery Revel, which is going to be the Satyr's brother, in essence. They came out around the same time. They're sporting RPM 9 together, sand polished blades. They both have titanium handles, and they're going to be under $90. Now, there is the Artisan Cutlery milled titanium clip I was referring to earlier, and I like the Ray Laconico Revel here so much that I put and got a clip for this knife because it matches perfectly. It looks really good. And if I end up liking this knife as much as the Revel, I will most likely be adding a milled clip to this one as well. But to get these type of knives now for $90 is absolutely insane, in my opinion. If you've been around and into the knife world, you know, I've been consumed by the knife world for the last 7, 8 years, somewhere in there. And there hasn't been much like these two knives to come out in those last 7 years. And I think Artisan is filling a huge void in the knife community, not only from their $80, $90 knives, but they're really starting to push the boundaries on $200 knives as well. And I think they're going to continue expanding off of what they already have going with stuff like the Crusoe here. I think it competes heavily because Artisan has the ability to compete with the best of them. In my opinion, I've seen what they can do. I've handled some of their more premium knives over the last year, and they definitely have what it takes to compete with the top of knife production companies. So, and I think they are ever so, getting there quickly at this point, especially with stuff like what they're doing right now. You'll have to let me know. What do you think of Artisan, CJRB, and what they have been putting out over the last couple of months? I think it is awesome for the knife community, the knife world, and knife buyers everywhere. It just opens up even more options. And what this is going to do is drive competition through the roof. Other companies are going to have to start putting out other knives in similar materials to these right here, or Artisan and CJRB are just going to run rampant in this price range. They will control this price range of $80 to $100, and that's an awesome price point to be at. You have to let me know what you think. I love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Always appreciate that, everyone. If you're new to my channel here and you enjoy knife and EDC content, you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe. I release daily videos just like this every single day. Make sure you hit that bell. That'll notify you anytime I release new content. I'll put a couple of new videos up on your screen that YouTube is recommending you go check out right now. Have yourself an awesome day. I will catch you on the next one.